Have you ever noticed how being alone is often seen as something bad? As if simply choosing to spend time with yourself were a sign that something is wrong? We live in a society that values constant connection. If we are not surrounded by people, we are online, replying to messages, consuming content, filling every second with some kind of interaction. And when someone decides to step away for a while, the questioning looks soon appear. Are they feeling sad? Or she must be lonely. But what if we told you that solitude can be one of the most powerful tools for well-being? That, far from being a problem, it can be a path to mental clarity, creativity, and inner peace. When we allow ourselves to be alone without distractions, something incredible happens. We start to hear our own thoughts. Without the influence of external opinions, we can reflect on our choices, better understand our emotions, and even find solutions to problems that once seemed impossible. Solitude does not have to be a void that needs to be filled. It can be a space for rest, a moment of reconnection, an invitation to look inward and discover who we truly are, without pressure or expectations. So maybe it's time to change the way we see alone time. Instead of avoiding it, why not embrace it? After all, learning to appreciate our own company may be one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves. What does science have to say about the effects of solitude on our brain, creativity, and well-being? Often we rely only on our intuition to judge what is good or bad for us. But neuroscience and psychology have already proven that alone time is not just a subjective experience. It has real and measurable impacts on our mind and body. Imagine that your mind is like a lake. When we are constantly surrounded by stimuli, notifications, conversations, external demands, this lake becomes agitated, full of waves and turbulence. But when we allow ourselves some solitude, the waters begin to calm. This is not just a metaphor. Studies show that moments of solitude reduce cortisol levels, the stress hormone. Cortisol is essential for survival, as it helps us react to dangerous situations. However, when we are constantly exposed to stimuli and external pressures, our cortisol levels remain elevated for long periods, which can lead to anxiety, fatigue, and even physical health problems. Researchers at the University of Rochester found that individuals who regularly spend time alone exhibit better emotional regulation and lower stress levels. This happens because by distancing ourselves from external chaos, we give our brain the chance to process emotions and restore internal balance. In other words, solitude is not a state of isolation. It is a mechanism of self-regulation. Now think of a moment when you needed to concentrate deeply on something. Maybe it was while writing a text, solving a complex problem, or even reflecting on an important decision. Were you able to do it amid constant distractions? For most people, the answer is no. Neuroscience explains that our brain functions best when it has periods of uninterrupted focus. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, famous for his concept of flow, that state of total immersion in an activity, discovered that solitude is one of the key factors in achieving this state. When we are alone without interruptions, our brain enters a deeper processing mode, allowing for more creative connections between ideas. This is why many of history's greatest geniuses, from Leonardo da Vinci to Nikola Tesla, valued alone time as an essential ingredient for innovation. A study published in the Journal of Environmental Psychology showed that people who regularly spend time alone have a greater capacity for divergent thinking, the ability to generate original ideas and creative solutions to problems. This happens because without the influence of external opinions, our mind has more freedom to explore unconventional paths. In other words, if you feel that your creativity is blocked, maybe what you are missing is not more information or external inspiration, but rather a space of silence so that your own ideas can emerge. Besides the benefits for creativity and stress, reduction solitude also has a profound impact on our emotional well-being. Psychologist John Cacioppo, one of the leading experts in the study of loneliness, made an important distinction. Being alone is not the same as feeling lonely. Negative loneliness, the kind that makes us feel isolated and disconnected, can be harmful. But intentional solitude, the kind we choose to reconnect with ourselves, has extremely positive effects. Research shows that people who set aside moments of solitude develop greater self-awareness and emotional intelligence. This happens because, by temporarily stepping away from social interactions, we can observe our own thought and behavior patterns more clearly. Additionally, solitude can be a powerful antidote to mental overload. In a world where we are constantly consuming information and interacting with others, our brain rarely has time to process everything. Alone time acts as a mental reset, allowing us to organize our thoughts and emotions in a healthier way. If solitude was once seen merely as an emotional state, today we know that it has concrete effects on our brain and body. It reduces stress, improves concentration, stimulates creativity, and strengthens our emotional well-being. The good news? Just like any skill, learning to enjoy solitude is something that can be cultivated. And for that, there are simple and effective strategies that can transform alone time into one of the most valuable moments of your day. If the idea of spending long periods alone seems intimidating, start with small steps. You don't need to isolate yourself in a cabin in the middle of the forest to experience the benefits of solitude. Just find brief moments in your day to be with yourself. Here are some simple ways to do that. Take a walk alone. Instead of always listening to music or podcasts, try walking in silence, paying attention to your surroundings and your own thoughts. Enjoy a coffee without distractions. Instead of scrolling through your phone while drinking your coffee, try simply savoring the drink and observing the moment. Disconnect for a few minutes. Set aside 10 to 15 minutes of your day to stay away from screens and interactions. Just breathe, reflect, or write in a journal. These small moments of solitude help train your mind to feel comfortable in your own company without the need for constant distractions. Our environment has a profound impact on how we feel. If your home or workspace is always full of stimuli and interactions, it can be difficult to find a moment of true solitude. That's why one of the best ways to embrace solitude is to create a dedicated space for it. This space doesn't have to be big or sophisticated. The important thing is that it serves as a refuge where you can disconnect from the outside world and reconnect with yourself. Here are some ideas to create your own solitude space. Choose a quiet corner. It can be a specific room, a comfortable armchair, or even an outdoor space where you feel good. Eliminate distractions. Avoid bringing your phone or any other device that might interrupt your moment of solitude. Personalize the environment. Use elements that bring a sense of calm, such as candles, plants, books, or a notebook for journaling. Having a physical space dedicated to solitude helps reinforce the habit and makes it easier to incorporate moments of introspection into your routine. One of the biggest challenges for those who want to spend more time alone is the constant presence of social media and notifications. We are so used to being connected all the time that, even when we try to be alone, we end up reaching for our phones to fill the silence. If you feel that technology is preventing you from fully enjoying solitude, here are some strategies to manage it better. Set screen-free times. Choose moments of the day when you will be completely disconnected, such as the first hour in the morning or the last 30 minutes before bed. Use Do Not Disturb mode. Activating this function on your phone can help reduce the temptation to constantly check notifications. Try a digital detox. Take one day a week to drastically reduce your use of social media and observe how it affects your mind. By reducing digital distractions, you create more space for introspection and true mental rest. Many people avoid solitude because they associate it with boredom, but in reality, alone time can be one of the most enriching experiences when used to explore your creativity. If you want to learn to appreciate solitude, try using it for activities that stimulate your mind and imagination. Keep a journal. Writing down your thoughts and reflections can be a powerful tool for self-discovery. Draw or paint. Even if you don't consider yourself an artist, expressing yourself visually can be a relaxing way to enjoy alone time. Experiment with new ideas. Use solitude as a space to think about projects, solutions to challenges, or simply to let your mind wander without external pressures. When you turn solitude into a moment of creation, it stops being a passive state and becomes an active tool for your personal growth. Finally, one of the most profound ways to embrace solitude is to learn to feel comfortable in silence. We live in a world where noise is constant. whether it's the external noise of cities or the internal noise of our own worries. But silence has a transformative power. It allows us to hear our own thoughts, process emotions, and find clarity amid the chaos. If you find it difficult to deal with silence, try these practices. Meditation, even if just for 5 minutes, sitting in silence and focusing on your breath can help train your mind to appreciate stillness. Mindful observation. Choose a moment in your day to simply observe your surroundings without judgment or distractions. Deep breathing. Practicing conscious breathing can help calm the mind and make silence more comfortable. Over time, you will realize that silence is not a void to be filled. It is a space where your mind can rest and renew itself. Many of humanity's greatest ideas were born in silence. Great writers, scientists, and artists sought solitude not as an escape, but as a fertile space for innovation. But why does this happen? What is it about solitude that makes us more creative? The answer lies in how our brain processes information when it is not constantly bombarded by external stimuli. Imagine your mind as a lake. When we are surrounded by distractions and constant interactions, this lake becomes turbulent, full of waves and chaotic movements. But when we allow ourselves moments of solitude, the waters begin to calm, and suddenly, we can see the bottom. Clearly, this state of mental clarity is essential for creativity. When we are alone without the pressure to respond to external stimuli, our brain enters a deeper processing mode, allowing unexpected connections between ideas to emerge naturally. Psychologist Donald Winnicott, famous for his studies on creativity and human development, argued that the ability to be alone is one of the pillars of creativity. According to him, it is in solitude that we can explore our thoughts without fear of judgment, allowing original ideas to flourish. In other words, solitude not only gives us time to think, it gives us space to think more freely and innovatively. Another fundamental aspect of creativity is introspection. To create something truly original, we first need to understand who we are, what inspires us, and what we truly want to express. Solitude gives us this opportunity. When we are alone, we can connect with our own thoughts and emotions more deeply, without the influence of external expectations. Think about the moments when you had your best ideas. Did they come amid chaos and distractions, or during moments of silence and reflection? Often the most creative answers come when we are driving, alone, taking a shower, or walking aimlessly, moments when our mind is free to wander without interruptions. This happens because during these moments our brain enters a state called the default mode network, in which we process information more intuitively and creatively. If we look at history, we will see that many of the greatest creative geniuses of humanity had a deep relationship with solitude. Nikola Tesla, one of the greatest inventors in history, believed that solitude was essential for innovation. He spent long periods alone, mentally visualizing his inventions before even putting them on paper. Virginia Woolf, a renowned writer, advocated for the importance of a room of one's own, a space of solitude where the mind could wander freely and create without interference. Albert Einstein used to say that his best way of thinking was through long solitary walks where his mind could explore concepts without external distractions. These examples show that solitude is not an obstacle to creativity. On the contrary, it is a catalyst. If solitude can be so powerful for well-being and creativity, should we seek it all the time? The answer is no. As with anything in life, the key is balance. Intentional solitude is different from isolation. While the first is a conscious choice to reconnect with oneself, isolation can lead to feelings of disconnection and sadness. The challenge then is to find the right balance, enough time to reflect, create, and rest without losing touch with the people who bring us joy. Each person has a different need for solitude. Some feel refreshed with just a few minutes of silence a day, while others need longer periods to truly reconnect. The important thing is to listen to yourself. If you feel that a lack of alone time is overwhelming you, maybe it's time to allow yourself more moments of solitude. On the other hand, if you notice that you are avoiding social interactions and distancing yourself too much, it might be a sign that you need to seek more connections. A good way to balance this is to set specific Moments for solitude and socialization. For example, you can reserve a daily time to be with yourself, whether reading, walking, or simply reflecting, while also ensuring that you are nurturing healthy relationships with friends and family. At the end of the day, solitude is not a destination, but a tool. When used wisely, it strengthens us, inspires us, and helps us live more authentically. So try to find your own rhythm. Discover how much solitude benefits you and how it can complement, rather than replace, the connections that truly matter. Because in the balance between being with yourself and being with others, we find true well-being. If this content resonated with you and helped you see solitude in a different way, why not dive even deeper? Here on the channel, we have several videos on well-being, creativity, and personal development that can inspire you to live with more balance. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next content that will help you take the next step on this journey of self-discovery. See you there.